Hey everyone, it's Darth CJ from Midnight Launch, and we're going to talk about our favorite games of 2013. Now, I'm going to have to bow out a little bit because myself and Malthe really played a lot of Black Ops 2. And other than that, in GTA 5, I didn't play many games last year. But I'll toss it over to Malthe.
Well, I think if we're going to go with our top three, I'll just throw them right away. BioShock Infinite, Saints Row 4, and Assassin's Creed 4.
Yeah, I was on Assassin's Creed, both Malthe and myself, we picked it up for the 1, and
pretty much the only reason to have a 1 right now.
Yeah, it's an epic game. It's Grand Theft Pirate, which is how I describe it. It's the assassin lore is there, and they did it well.
Yeah.
But it's all about, sailing your ship around, blowing shit up, and there's a random island. I think I'll go over and hunt ocelots for an hour. It's fantastic.
And that's so, in every other Assassin's game that's ever come out, they have all the little collectibles, right?
Yeah.
I haven't given two shits about those in any other game. For some reason in this one, I have spent, last weekend, I spent 3 hours just sailing around, going to different islands, collecting all the shit that can be found on each island. Just because. I don't know why. But it was because I'd go between islands. I would attack other ships along the way, attack them, capture them, send them to Kenway's fleet and whatnot, and I would go, it was almost like a little respite in between the collections.
Yeah, in the last 2 weeks, I've played it probably about 5 or 6 times and sunk probably about 15, 20 hours into it, and I haven't touched the storyline in that entire time. I was 33% finished, still 33% finished. It's fantastic for that. It has sea legs, so to speak. My boss, Alex, is neurotic about this game. He's trying to exploit every glitch out of it. And, he jumps off the ship, swims over to another ship before he engages them in combat, goes on the ship, kills them all, goes back to his ship, bumps it, automatically steals it. So he did it to a level 70 mana war, just killed everyone for half an hour, then got back. But, it's got everything you want from a game. It's an open world. So that's one of my top. GTA 5, it was too expansive for me. I know we reviewed it before. I loved it, but I don't have the attention span. I can't finish that game.
Yeah, I agree. It was a really solid game, so much stuff to do in it. It is my top game of 2013, but I haven't finished it yet.
Really? Am I the only one who's finished it? I finished it.
I'm enjoying the actual experience of being in the world too much to just nail down and actually play it. So, it's going to keep me busy for a while, but it's just the pinnacle of everything Rockstar's done in this console generation. The randomly generated events that happen, the storytelling, the characters, the technical prowess of it. I have a hard time not giving it top marks.
No, and I don't have any strikes against it other than the fact that I have the attention span of a hummingbird. Mm-hmm. And so, for me to play that game, when you don't have any progress because it's so expensive, eventually you're I should probably do something.
Yeah, it comes down to personal discipline. You can get the progression if you actually.
I the pain is on one side and I'm on the other. I have no discipline.
It's flexible. If a person was to buy one game that was made in 2013, they would get their money's worth out of it.
Well, absolutely.
I don't know if it's necessarily my favorite game.
Okay, what else?
BioShock Infinite was pretty damn good. It's got the people that say it's not that different from the original BioShocks, and the ending being a little derivative compared to other sci-fi media and that type of thing. But the experience of ending that game and just the feeling that you had after, what the hell, and trying to put all the pieces together, what you experienced through the game. It was probably one of my favorite moments of the year.
I was really kind of skeptical of it in the beginning because I looked at it as with Elizabeth being around, I looked at it I played WoW forever, and there's escort quests in WoW. And I despise escort quests. Okay. And that's what I looked at.
Every game has stupid escort quests. I wish you had a character that's you know what, no, fuck this, I'm grabbing a gun.
Yeah.
And you're on your own.
And that's what I was a little bit concerned about with this. I was like, God damn, I don't want this to be just a giant escort quest game. But then finding out that Elizabeth, is helpful. Mm-hmm. She throws stuff to you. She throws money. She throws ammo.
And stays out of the line of fire.
Yeah.
And not rescuing her or worrying about her dying or anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You can run off and do whatever. She'll kind of hide in the shadows, throwing bullets at you to, keep you stocked up. She'll, find random stuff here and there. And I actually really like that. I love the scenery. I loved Columbia. Columbia was like before shit goes sideways.
Yeah, the design of it and
Battleship
the
Bay.
Conception of that place.
Yeah,
is pretty
I
awesome.
loved Battleship Bay.
There's also another game that I want to bring up that I don't think any of us have played, and much to our discredit. So, The Last of Us.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to it yet.
So every person I have talked to is just has a hard on for this game. Reddit, subreddit gaming has such a hard on for it. And usually they're pretty on the mark with a lot of the fan pull. I have my wife works with a guy who's in his mid-40s, rarely plays video games. He's like, you gotta get your husband to play The Last of Us.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what is this guy like? So that's a discredit to us that we haven't played this game.
Yeah,
well, and I mean, I've had it on my game access list for probably since it came out. And I've had it top of the list the entire time, and they just won't fucking send it to me.
Yeah. I want pitch in $10, go buy it used and pass it around the circle here.
We could,
That's probably the idea, yeah. It's on my list of things to buy next, but I can always justify other purchases before it. But it's definitely on the next thing to play.
I'm concerned about not playing it because soon enough I'm going to end up buying a PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
And, then my PlayStation 3 is going to be thrown out.
No, I mean, it's good. You could give it to, some poor family or something, but, I'm going to hold on to mine. I use it, right now, all I use my PS4 is a Blu-ray and media streamer.
Mm-hmm.
I'll play the occasional game on it. Infamous was great.
It was, and I'm still playing through it.
Going to be awesome.
The Second Sons is one title, if they can really build that Infamous franchise, that might be somewhere where they can get a foothold. Because I've tested out the PlayStation 4. They had it in malls around here. Totally going off track, but whatever.
It happened in this year. That's fine.
Yeah, exactly. It happened at Christmas season. But if anyone went to some of the malls and they had a PlayStation 4 demo, so I went through this thing, got to play all the different games on PlayStation 4, which was really shrewd marketing. I wasn't impressed. They have what is it, Killzone?
Mm-hmm.
That's been pretty well panned.
Yeah, and I'm okay, so it's literally it's a first-person shooter. There is nothing, in my opinion, that was innovative about it. The graphics are gorgeous, as with every game like NBA, and I think that's where they might be able to get some traction, is just do the easy things really, really well. If they took a game like Killzone that had no originality and made it one of the best multiplayer experiences, without having, you don't need some new gimmick. Yeah. Just make it really polished.
Yeah, solid controls, features people are looking for.
Exactly. Equal maps such that whatever side you start on, you don't have an instinctive advantage, punishes campers but benefits campers. The perfect equilibrium. That's what game designers need to get back to.
Yeah.
And that's what this year we saw was more the rise of these theatrical games, is what I'll call it. Grand Theft Auto, Saints Row, BioShock, were these almost blockbuster movie style games, and I'd like to see someone just maybe pull back the cutscenes, pull back the storyline, and just make a kick-ass game.
Well, I mean, we could see something like that with Titanfall, because Titanfall is going to be pure multiplayer, so you're not going to really have cutscenes in it. So that's one that could.
We reviewed the trailer. Half of it was cutscenes.
I don't know. It's a pure multiplayer game. How are you going to inject cutscenes into pure multiplayer?
To be fair, it's a preview, and we don't know how much of that's actually going to translate over to the final game.
Yeah.
But, it did seem to be a lot of focus on. I mean, it's first gen. They have to do videos. They can't have working gameplay in a lot of cases, and they've got to, fill it out.
PlayStation showing gameplay in their on their new console didn't work out.
Killzone's always been on the edge of that, but that's a discussion about the launch of the systems this year and that sort of thing.
Yeah, and we'll get to that a little bit later here.
But it's interesting to say that you thought it was all about Blockbuster, and fair enough, they were pushing out all their releases for this last generation and stuff, but it seemed to be the year of the sandbox game. I mean, the games we're talking about, Assassin's Creed, Saints Row, Grand Theft Auto, all these are just big about the open world.
BioShock, more or less. It's not. It's kind of. It
was on rails.
It was open world. You could transfer. You could go back to areas you've been to, but it was kind of the same.
Doesn't mean open world though.
Well,
that's not an open world.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
A lot, but in games overall in this past year, I mean, a lot of them allowed you to go where you wanted to. I mean, the Batman games, all that stuff. It just seems to be a mechanic that's so popular now, and I don't know if that's because the hardware and the design's good enough that you can just build that into games. I mean, it was a restriction with games before that they couldn't do those type of things, but I mean, that's a.
See, I don't even buy that. I don't buy that because there was the Simpsons game way back. It was basically Grand Theft Simpsons, where you could just go around. I loved that game. That game rocked the shit out of that. Even going back in the day to Crazy Taxi.
Right.
Well, it wasn't true open world because you're in the taxi. It was still open world
Driver San Francisco. I love the Driver series.
But to Citizen Payne's point here, I think you make a valid point, but every one of them was a spectacle. It was really the pinnacle, in my opinion, of their development. Mm-hmm. Grand Theft Auto 5, I don't think anyone's going to argue, is the best of the series.
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto, Saints Row 4, I think people would be hard-pressed to say it's not one of the best of the series.
It's one of.
It's one of. I still kind of go back and forth between 2.
Yeah,
2 and 4.
But it is Assassin's Creed 4.
Definitely the best one that I
mean, I love 2 so much that it's tough for me to steer away from that. But yeah, as far as a game, it's really evolved.
Yeah.
So it was their marquee. It was their banner. It was their final send-off, so to speak. So drop us a line. Let us know what your thoughts are on sort of your favorite games of 2013. Next podcast, we're going to be going over things like the new console launch, as well as what we're looking most forward to in 2014 and beyond.